Hi, I'm delighted to be here with Lola Owolabi. Lola, thank you so much. It's fascinating. You've got a fascinating story. I remember that we first met at an event marking people of colour in the UK,
yes.
and you kind of gave me a lift back to the station, and I learned a little bit about your story.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, you've been involved in fashion, you run a fashion store
yes.
in central London, magistrate, but you also run something called Proud to Be Me, which is fascinating, which is where we've had our recent conversations. Tell us a little bit about Proud to Be Me and what that's all about.
Okay, Proud to Be Me is a social enterprise, and our aims are to empower teenage girls between the ages of 13 and 19, and we empower them so that they are able to achieve, acquire and to aspire.
Right, and this is fascinating, isn't it? Because you were telling me before that because you've achieved lots of stuff, and you didn't necessarily have a program like Proud to Be Me.
No.
So how did you find the courage or the confidence in your own life journey? Because you were saying before you didn't necessarily feel confident when you were young. Tell us a little bit about your own story and your own background.
I mean, to be honest, Rasheed, my whole life story is the reason why I started Proud to Be Me. I mean, to be honest, I grew up in a single parent home, and money was always tight, but I think that was one of the reasons why I probably didn't realise who I was, you know. But when I got to university, a good friend of mine said, "But Lola, you've got a really good voice." And that was the beginning. I realised that, I looked at myself and I thought, yes, you know what, I can sing. And I started singing in uni, I joined a jazz band, I was in about 3 different bands, I was gigging. And thereafter, singing, as we said earlier today, it's like it gives you an ability to not be who you are.
Right.
You understand, when you're singing. And so therefore, from the singing, I started to do other things, and I realised that I had a latent something inside me that was entrepreneurial.
Right.
You know, and hence the shop, and hence the social enterprise, because I believe in the fact that we've been given so many gifts and so many talents.
Right, and well, that's very apt, because I was just thinking at that moment you said so many talents. But your career was an interesting one, because after university you got involved, I think you've said, you were telling me before that you were, was that right, an independent financial advisor?
Yeah, financial advisor.
So financial advisor, and then you ran your own mortgage broking company.
Yes.
This is quite an extraordinary life. So how did you find yourself from the singing to the mortgage company, and then with Proud to Be Me? How did that sequence of events happen?
The sequence of events are like this. Funnily enough, when I do, sometimes I do motivational and inspirational speaking, and one of the funny stories I always say is that when I started my mortgage brokerage business, I was petrified. I took a shop, it was a business office, and I didn't even go there for about 3 months because I was so petrified.
Really?
But what was the driving factor was it became a 1st of January one year, and I just gave myself a slap round the face that we all need to do. And I said, girl, you need to sit up, you need to sort your life out. And that's what I did. And it's you know, little steps. It's one little step, one little achievement allows you to go to the next level.
And is that what you found, that then you were spurred on to do other things? Because then you said you realised that you were also creative.
Yes.
You'd always been creative, and that's where the fashion thing and the boutique. But I would imagine it's one thing having the idea, but that follow through is something. I know you said before with the mortgage advice, you know, that being nothing. But to lots of people say to you, you know, Lola, it's amazing to do this and this. Was there a lot of fear, or how did you break through all these different methods?
There's definitely fear, but at the end of the day, if you allow the fear to conquer, you're not going to get anywhere. And my motivation was one woman that I read about in the Bible, who I found was maybe 2,000 years before Christ, as an example. She was doing almost 12 different things. Yet she didn't have a washing machine, no dishwasher, no microwave, no car, no radio, no internet. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, if people of old could achieve so much, what are we doing that we can't, you know, do what we need to do? And I'm a staunch believer also of multiple streams of income. I've been a mortgage broker. We all know what happened to the mortgage industry. If there wasn't something else to fall back on, what happened? You still got bills to pay.
Right, now this leads us beautifully into the work that you're doing with Proud to Be Me.
Yes.
From what I understand, it's really to help these young women holistically.
Yes.
And again, we were touching on this thing about, there's been a lot of talk about, over the last 10, 15 years, about young black boys, young black men, and so on, and so on. But only when we started talking, I stopped and thought and realised, and through some other people I know, that realised that actually young women, there are huge pressures from media, pressure how they should look, pressure maybe potentially from partners, all sorts of pressures. So, and I know you said that you wanted Proud to be holistic. Tell me a little bit about how it is that you work with young women and why particularly you chose to work with this group of women.
Okay. Well, Proud to be Me is as the name entails. And our strap line is because I can walk tall. And I realise in this celebrity-driven culture that we're living, that a lot of young women, and even more mature women, everybody wants to look like, you know, like a celebrity. But whereas that's not the realistic part of life. They've got a lot of money, they've got personal stylists, they've got this, that and the other. But the average person doesn't. And I wanted these young women, especially these 13, where they are at a formative stage, where they're very impressionable. I wanted them to see that, look, do you know what? You have got a lot to offer the world. You're very beautiful, you're very intelligent, you can achieve a lot in your life, but here's some little steps that you can look at that can help you.
Right, and that's why you do everything from the confidence, the self-esteem, the beauty, the you know, that kind of stuff, the relationship stuff, how to hold themselves, and I know you were talking before about that things like etiquette, because you want them to be proud holistically across the board.
And Rasheed, well-rounded women who can walk into a room like a networking room, or who could take the mic to do some public speaking and not be intimidated.
Right, because I guess that's important as I get the sense that you're wanting these young women like you to be able to move forward in their career, in the business room, in the boardroom, and so on, so that they've really got that rounded confidence. Because you're right. I mean, I think that, you know, we still live in a hangover where the men often put themselves forward and women feel as though they'll be quieter.
Rasheed, on Saturday I went for Success 2013 at the EXA. Out of about 10 speakers, there was only one female speaker.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Only one. And I'm like, what is going on here? And there's so many women who can empower other people, both male and female. But at that event, high-profile event, but there was only one female speaker.
Right.
And it does tell a big story.
I think it does. And so tell us, before we close, we're Proud to be Me. Tell us a little bit about where you're at the moment. I know that there have been some programmes you've been running for a couple of areas within London, and I know that you've got, I know, knowing you, there's a lot more that you're wanting to do.
Definitely.
Tell us a little bit about where you're at them now, and where it is that you are going forward, and what you're looking for these next steps.
Right. Where we are now, we've done several sessions with community and faith groups. We've also, last year we worked with Leighton Sixth Form College, which was fantastic. We worked with especially some of the business students, but we worked with a whole tutor group. We've also just received £10,000 worth of funding from Community Barnet to run 2 sessions within the Barnet Borough. And we've also partnered with a charity in Barnet called Every Day's Tomorrow. And so going forward, we would also want to become an accredited training centre, because I believe that this holistic approach is something in which we are doing that parents cannot give if they do not have, also teachers cannot give if they do not have.
You used a lovely phrase a while ago we were talking about. You said, well, it's difficult for anybody to give what they don't necessarily have, and that there's different roles. You know, parents will have their own challenges and so on, schools will have their own agendas and so on. So actually, you being able to add is that sense that I get, and to complement and enhance.
Yes, that's what we're doing. And so for the future, we'd like to, you know, engage with some blue chip companies, engage not just with secondary schools but also with colleges and universities. We'd also, as I said earlier, we'd like to become an accredited centre, you know, because I feel that this is something that can help everybody, even adults, you know, just to, it's like people go for elocution lessons, but this is like well-rounded. It will teach you how to eat, to fine dine, it will teach you presentation skills, public speaking, nutrition, dressing for success, marketability skills, how to create a positive first impression, which we all need to do. As I was telling you earlier, somebody said to me once that it takes 41 subsequent meetings to negate a negative first impression. Where will you get 41 subsequent meetings? But if the first meeting goes off in a bang, because we're very visual people, then you're halfway there.
So it really is very much from that inner, from that self-esteem
Inner to outer.
To the outer. Well, Lola, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I just want to wish you all the best. I'm going to leave you to smile whilst I turn off the camera.
Thank you very much.
And good luck. Really looking forward to all those exciting success stories of all these young women moving forward.
Thank you. Thanks, Rasheed. Thank you.